The Uyinene Mrwetyana Foundation says it hopes to repurpose the Clareinch post office where the 19-year-old student was raped and murdered on the 24th of August last year. The foundation wants to turn the site of Uyinene's brutal killing into a wellness center for people affected by gender-based violence. The perpetrator, Uyinene Mrwetyana, was sentenced to 3 life terms for the crimes. The University of Cape Town will also contribute towards a postgraduate bursary to the foundation. This was revealed at the launch on Friday of the foundation by Uyinene's mother, who is also a Rhodes University Students Affairs Director, Nomangwane Mrwetyana. She now joins us to elaborate on the foundation's vision. Mama, thank you so much for your time tonight. I know this is your first television interview since the death of your daughter. How has it been a year on?
Good evening, Bongiwe, and good evening to your viewers. And thank you for having me. I must say, for us as a family, this has not been an easy journey. It has been very difficult. It's been a journey or a year that has been characterized, by hurt, by sadness, by sleepless nights. Sometimes you get frustrated that probably there's something you could have done. In a nutshell, what I can say, Bongi, it has not been an easy year. And at the same time, it has been a roller coaster of emotions. But through the support of those who are around us and from people from all walks of life, and through God's grace, here we are. And yeah.
And what do you miss most about her?
Yeah, sure. That's a very difficult question to answer. It's as a mother, you miss your child in totality. I miss her not only as a daughter. With her absence, I'm the only woman in the house. So I miss that counterpart, the other woman. Without her, the house is very quiet. It feels like the loudspeaker of the house is gone. We miss her, her sense of being outspoken. We miss her chats at the dinner table. The dinner table is very quiet in her absence because she's the one who will always initiate, And more than anything else, as the only woman in the house, I miss her calling out on the 2 men that I'm left with. So I miss her caring. I miss everything about Uyinene. She was such a dynamic person, caring, outspoken, very firm about what she believes in. So those are the things that I really miss. And more than anything less, I miss my cheerleader. Even this afternoon, she's the one who would say, "Hi, Ma, this hairstyle, this, that. I don't like this, I like that one." So I also miss my cheerleader, So yeah, no, it's not easy. It's not easy at all. I don't want to lie, but as I said earlier on, but here we are. We can always find ways of moving forward and keeping her legacy and her presence in other ways. While she's not physically with us, we choose to not forget Uyinene. We choose to keep her legacy. We speak about her on a daily basis at home. There's not an hour that goes by without us speaking about her. We'll always say, she'll say, about this, she'll say about this, even about COVID-19, this is what she'll be saying. Black Lives Matter, this is what she'll be saying. We miss her in totality. But as a mother, you miss a daughter, a friend, and a cheerleader.
And Mama, I also just want to, before we even get to Uyinene, the activist, because I'm sure that is behind why you want this post office to be a wellness center. Let's talk about, the difficulty that you endured when you had to hear how, everything went, happened, how Uyinene really planned and premeditated this entire thing, and you couldn't even look at him, while he was on the stand. Has he even contacted the family to apologize? Has his family reached out?
Never. Those are the questions that we're sitting with on a daily basis, that what is going through his family's mind, what is going through his mind, wherever he is. it's still difficult for me to even mention his name. It brings a feeling that I do not like, that is not really me. It brings, a lot of disgust out of me. It brings a lot of anger that you sit and you blame about my child. And the question I wish to ask him is, who granted you the permission, to treat my child in that way? So it brings a lot of anger, I must say. But I'm praying about it on a daily basis. Probably at some point we'll find solace and peace about it. But obviously for me, the focus is not on him. I refuse, to think about him. I rather think about my daughter. I refuse to think about how he took the life of my child. I choose to celebrate the life of Uyinene, the life that was well lived, although it was so short.
And Mama, tell us about the Wellness Center and why, as a family, having started this foundation, you believe that that particular place where she took her last breath needs to be a wellness center to assist victims of gender-based violence.
Bongo, for me, more than anything else, right at the beginning, when I was sitting, I didn't even plan the issue of a foundation. I was just sitting, grieving, in a state of confusion, in those early days. Something just asked me, are you going to just keep quiet and just say, okay, she's gone? Then something said to me, no, start something. And obviously, as you mentioned earlier on, I'm the director of student affairs at a university. I work with young adults. I've been the harassment reporting officer. I've dealt with issues of gender-based violence. And this really took me by surprise. And as a psychologist, I felt like I want to change that a place, of pain into a place of healing, in order to assist other survivors of gender-based violence, in order to assist also other families, and also to ensure that no other family goes through what I'm going through. But at the same time, I must say that it is quite disheartening that in spite of all, it's a year later and nothing is changing. And on that note, I do want to say, Bongi, I do want to send my heartfelt condolences to the Zozo family. The issue of Astandile just opened the wound again, because she's the same age as Uyinene. She's a first-year student. She had a future. So I want to send my sincere condolences to the Zozo family and to all the families of Tualume, whose daughters also passed on in this true gender-based violence. And we hope also the 14 families who are still looking for their daughters will find closure. So it's really about, repurposing the pain and finding, healing, in the midst of the pain. While she was silenced there, I want to look at a counter narrative where I want to see, young women are rising and speaking, against all this instead of allowing themselves to be silenced. And I want to say on the 24th, while someone chose to silence my daughter, as a family, as a foundation, we refuse to be silent. We refuse to be, to be sitting in pain, Yes, the pain is fine, we'll express it, but we want to change that place into a place of healing.
And have they granted you that permission?
Not yet. We have not even started those negotiations, Bongewe. It's kind of a long-term goal for me. For the past 6 months, we are still very new. I didn't even realize that we're only 6 months old as a foundation. It was really about putting systems in place and also focusing in the here and now, and also COVID-19 came with its own limitations in terms of our plans of what we would like to do. Those negotiations have not started yet, but it's still on the table.
And as a final question from me tonight, how are you going to be marking a very difficult day, on the 24th, where you have to remember that it's now a year, and as you say, that every day, does not go by without the family talking about Uyinene. How are you going to be remembering her on the 24th?
As I said earlier on, Bongwe, thanks very much. We choose to arise. And we are calling on all South Africans on the 24th of August to arise. We are hosting a webinar as a foundation in collaboration with UNISA's Masculinity and Health Research Unit, together with the Psychological Society of South Africa. On that day, we want to look into why men's violence against women in South Africa is not changing swiftly, and what to do about it. And the main thing, I want to call on men. We want them to be at the forefront of all this. You know, the theme of this month for us as the foundation is saying, arise and speak out. And we want men to be at the forefront. We invite them to be part of this webinar. We want them to speak to us, want them to guide us in terms of what more do we need to do. We want to, on that day, to come up with action points, you know, so that we can go and do, because we've realized that, yes, the hashtags, they do assist in terms of awareness raising, but it looks like there's something more that needs to be done. And we want men to guide us, and we call upon them to join us, you know, in this call to arise and speak out against gender-based violence. So that's how we'll be spending the 24th. Instead of being silenced, we choose to arise.
Mama, enkosi kakhulu for your time tonight. Thank you. I know this was not an easy interview for you to do, but enkosi kakhulu, we do appreciate your time. That was Uyinene's mother, Nomangwane Mrwetyana, detailing the foundation's vision to repurpose the site of Uyinene's murder into a wellness center. This is, of course, ahead of that first anniversary of her murder on Monday, the 24th of August, and you would have heard Nomangwane there saying that they're going to be hosting a webinar to try and understand really what is at the heart of gender-based violence.